Oh, What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Dead Funny Top 3. Today, we are going to be going over the 4v1 horror games that are out there. You got basically the poster boy, Dead by Daylight. So, the Dead by Daylight-ish type games. Obviously, not all 4v1, because some of them you can have more, killers or maybe even more players. We got our top 3. There are definitely some to mention that are close, but they didn't quite make the cut, and there's specific reasons why, and we'll get into those. But let's go ahead and start the list out with number 1. So number 1, we got to give it up. It's cleanest, the polished, obviously has the most time dedicated to it, and that's Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight definitely comes in at the top with the awesome 4v1 killer versus survivors. They're constantly coming out with new killers, whether they be licensed or original content. On top of that, they've got all these different survivors you can use at all these different perks. The actual setup of the game isn't too complicated to understand for you to be able to just get in and go. So yeah, Dead by Daylight definitely reigns as the champ and supreme with the top spot. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I play this game a lot. We've talked about it a lot on the channel. It's definitely one of those for you to pick up. But yeah, so if you play with your friends or don't play with your friends, it's definitely easy to play solo with that game as well. You could just jump in and do a solo survivor game, or you could just jump in and play as the killer. A lot of people like to play as the killer, so being able to have those solo queues definitely works out in that advantage playing with friends. This is something that we've also talked about on the channel as well. I have my drunk streams that go on Saturdays, Drunk by Daylight, and that is literally us just getting into nothing but a custom game with friends, drinking, and having a good time. So, yeah, like I said, Dead by Daylight's definitely one of those pickups. But let's go ahead and move on to number 2. So, number 2, we're going to go ahead and give it up to Friday the 13th, actually. And here's why. I think Friday the 13th adds a different element that I wouldn't mind seeing coming to Dead by Daylight. I just don't know if it will ever happen because of how their game is just based on one way of escape. So, in Friday the 13th, one of the things that I like, one, you can kind of somewhat fight back against the killer, which is kind of nice, but not like crazy fight back against them. But one thing that I would like to see come to Dead by Daylight that Friday the 13th does is multiple ways of escaping. I actually kind of like that aspect. There's another game which might appear on another list coming for the rest of this month, but Sound of Silence, being able to run around a map, escape, have all these different ways to escape. I like that. So Friday the 13th definitely has that going for it with the different ways that you can escape, whether you get in a car and drive away, the boats, radio and the police, and I think there's another one. And another really cool thing that they have is that once a certain amount of characters are done, whoever did the most or something like that, I can't remember how the lottery system works on that one, but there's basically a lottery system, and it picks one player that died to come back as Tommy, which is kind of like the good guy of that series, and you get a shotgun with, like, I think it's like one shot in it or something to do like a ass ton of damage to Jason. So yeah, definitely deserves the second spot. Obviously, a lot of people want to see Jason come to Dead by Daylight. He is a very well-known killer, pretty high up there in the body count. So, I mean, there's a lawsuit kind of going on. I think it actually just wrapped up soon. So, we might be seeing Jason coming to Dead by Daylight. We might not. Who knows? But either way, it doesn't matter. Friday the 13th, I definitely think deserves the second slot, even though I don't play it anywhere near as Dead by Daylight. If you're looking, once again, this whole show is to give you guys a chance to look into other games to play during Halloween that kind of fit the bill of specific games. And this is on, like I said, the same par as Dead by Daylight. So, yeah, if you're looking for something like that, go pick it up. Moving on to number 3. Number 3 was kind of a rough one for me to go through because there were 2 games that it was kind of tied between. Actually, 3 games it was kind of tied between. But we had to go with what we had. and that is Secret Neighbor. And so the reason why I chose Secret Neighbor is because one, it's already a top franchise, so getting in there isn't that big a deal. And then two, with it being a top franchise already, you have it's an easy pickup game where people can you can just jump in and play a game. On top of that, you can have a lot more people to the game as well. I think it's like up to like 6, maybe 8 player lobby, something like that. So you have the option to play with a lot of different people and things like that, which is always awesome. But that being said, with Hello Neighbor or Secret Neighbor, it's based off the Hello Neighbor franchise. Hello Neighbor franchise was super, super good, but basically with Secret Neighbor, one of your friends is trapped down in the basement, and you've got to go around the house and get a certain amount of keys. I think it's like 4 or 6 amount of keys, so that way you can get down to the basement and save your friend. But what you don't know is that one of the other kids that are with you that are claiming to be one of the friends is actually the neighbor, and they're an imposter, and they're trying to do what they can to take the kids out one by one. So that's definitely going to go ahead and slot in that number 3. Once again, definitely think it's worth picking up, especially if you're going to be playing with friends, but there's the option for solo queue. But we'll go ahead and jump into some honorable mentions here. So honorable mentions, we did have the Nightmare. That one was kind of an interesting one because there's 3 different killers. You've got this school. Basically, you're a whole bunch of high school kids. And in this one, if you die, you actually end up getting put in a locker, and your friends can come get you out. I think the game ends when everybody's in their locker. Definitely seems like a very interesting one, and that one was a hard choice between that, Secret Neighbor, and then also another honorable mention that I had was In Silence. In Silence is a pretty interesting game. The monster has basically no vision at all, very blurred vision, and has to go off of sounds, including proximity chat, which is pretty cool and an awesome feature. The reason why this one didn't slot the number 3 slot, even though it looks really good and it is kind of polished, they only have one monster and they also only have one map. So the replayability, in my opinion, is not there. To where like something like Dead by Daylight, you have a whole bunch of different killers, a whole bunch of different survivors, and you also have a whole bunch of different maps. So that's why that one's stuck in the honorable mentions. A couple other that people are probably wondering. White Noise. Once again, it's an honorable mention solely due to the fact that it's well known. I don't really think it's that good of a game, personally myself. Another one that is up there that a lot of people do play is Deceit. The reason why Deceit didn't make the list is because it is very toxic. Very, very toxic. A lot of little kids play that game, and that game is a perfect example on why little kids should not be able to run literally anything. Because if you are a rando, guarantee you are getting downed as soon as the game starts and taken completely out of the game because they don't know who you are, so you must be the bad guy. It's a pretty toxic and terrible game to play. I have not had I've not had fun playing it a single time. Those of you who have, great, good on you, but yeah, no, Deceit, in my opinion, is not worth the time to download. But the last one that I did want to throw on my list, I actually don't own this game, but after doing some research on it, I definitely want to look more into it. Crawl. Crawl is a dungeon crawler, a pixelated dungeon crawler, which looks really, really awesome. And the thing with it is that basically you go in, I think it's like four player. One of you gets considered to be the hero, the other 3 are ghosts. Now the ghost can't do anything to the hero directly, but the ghost can like possess the enemies and stuff in the dungeon, possess traps, and their job is to try to kill the hero, because if they kill the hero, they then respawn in the game as the hero, and then the original hero is now a ghost trying to do the same thing the original ghost was doing. And I think that's a pretty cool concept, honestly. I think that's super fun. I would actually like to try to pick that up, maybe do a Dead Funny game night on that one, because I think that would be pretty fun, trying to screw each other over and seeing how far we can go down. That's definitely going to be something that I'm going to put on the Dead Funny radar list. Like I said, pretty interesting game mechanic, and from what I see, a lot of people like it, a lot of people enjoy it, so could be pretty fun. But yeah, so that's going to be the honorable mentions. But once again, that top 3 list, if you're looking for fun games to play and kill your friends in, you've got Dead by Daylight, number 1 pick for Dead Funny. Friday the 13th, number 2 pick for Dead Funny, and Secret Neighbor was the number 3 pick for Dead Funny. So make sure you go check those out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you like and comment. Let me know in the comment section below if you picked up any of these games, which ones you liked, which one's your favorite, or if you were going to make a top 3 list, what would be in your top 3 and why. Also, don't forget we got the Twitter and the Twitch links down in the description below, and you can hit me there for more direct form of communication, or just try to be in touch with the channel as much as possible. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next time.